Hi, this is Kristen here. Welcome to another process video, and today I'm working on 30 Days of Sketches with Kristy's Beautiful Life, Series 19. This is sketch number 21, and this is by Jacqueline Hart. And so I just thought this was really cute with that little pocket, and I decided it would be perfect to go with my Hip Kit Club kit from, this would have been, I believe, September of 2024. Which was very heavily themed, kind of school theme, kind of almost like a fair theme to it too. I don't have a ton of paper left with this, but I do have a ton of ephemera, and one of the ephemera pieces actually are a little, like kind of looks like jean pockets with florals, so I thought that that would work really well. So here's all the ephemera I've got. And then the pictures I'm going to be documenting are a couple photographs of my son. This was technically his second day of school. So the first day of school, my husband had taken a picture with like his little chalkboard with like, you know, his name and things that he's interested in, things like that. But we accidentally had the last day of school of my daughter flipped. So my husband didn't realize that the writing on the back was old, and so it technically had my daughter's name and her interest. So that was the second day of school's pictures, and he looked super thrilled. He was making an angry face, and then of course had to stick his tongue out. So he really likes school okay. I just think sometimes it's a lot for him. He gets tired. So anyways, I had some of this blue paper left over, and so I decided I'm going to use that. The paper that appears white is actually a white, almost kind of a creamy white paper with gray, like kind of doodles, like a lot of it's like school themed. So you can't really see it that well, at least from the footage here, but and so I'm going to cut that into a strip here. It's just kind of blue with like kind of concentric circles. And then I am going to use the branding strip, which had kind of apples on it. So to me, the layout looked like it had a couple of different strips of paper, rectangular pieces of paper going down it. But again, I wasn't like adhering super strict to it because I was away. And so I was kind of just making what I could work. So and so it shows the pictures kind of centered here, and then your pockets off to the right hand side. I do really like the star paper, so I decided I'm going to back his photographs with this kind of lighter, it's kind of a mint color paper. That's a Hip Kit Club paper, and then the star paper as well, so double mounted. And I'm sorry for the table shaking because it's an old farmhouse. We tried to shim the table, but it's still wanted to shake a little bit. And I did do the photographs on kind of like an angle, and then just mounted them all together rather than separately. I kind of like the look of that. And then there's those pockets, so you can see there came with quite a few pockets. I'd already used one on layout on another layout, so I'm wanting to say it came with like 5 little pockets there. And then this is a chipboard piece, and then I'm going to pull in a couple pieces for the title. I kind of do one main one with like kind of some wordy pieces underneath it. So I decided instead of having I think it had a tag sticking out of the pocket, I like this little piece that says the best day or the anticipation, because you can clearly see he's super thrilled. So I thought that that would be a very appropriate title. I end up putting this piece up here. Has like a little apple on it. like this little thing of books, so I decided I'm gonna put that up there. And I don't recall what the little strip of paper said, but there's another piece that I'll put on too below it that kind of has a couple different sayings. I like that piece there that says "that time again," because again, he looks super thrilled. This little medallion piece, they had, I think, I'm wanting to say 6 or 7 of those in the pack, and they are so stinking cute. So that, I think, said back to school, and so I'm going to put that by the pocket. Now, I had set it aside because, it's got the foam dots on the back. I didn't want it to stick down yet, so. And then I'm just trying to figure out the little floral pieces I'm going to have tucked into this pocket. School is at the beginning of the year, school for him, he cries usually the first day. Does fine getting out of the car and stuff, but he's not like my son. He, like my oldest son, that's like ready to go back. Like, I think if we would allow him to stay at home all the time, he probably would. And you can see he's got a little boot on his foot because he had injured his little baby toe, and so he had to wear a boot. So it was a good start of the school year as well. Thankfully, it ended up being okay, but he basically kind of smushed his little baby toe, and we weren't sure if a nail was going to grow back there yet, but he had hurt it pretty decent, and so we had to keep it in a boot and a dressing on it, and that was because he had kind of tore the skin of the tip of the toe off. And so I'm going to pull in some puffy stickers here. That's what I'm putting on. I did end up having to go back later and add glue to these because they were kind of wanting to come off. So anyways, yeah, this kid, he's so, he doesn't have a lot of fear. So if one of the kids is going to get hurt, it's usually always him. Like, just because he's so rough and tumble. I mean, he's a stereotypical boy, very rambunctious, so. I really wanted the bus up here, but I was afraid it was going to kind of blend in with that circle piece there, and I was like, you know what, forget it. Let's just put it up there. I've liked it up there. I tried to make it work in other spots, and like, I like this little book bag down here. And then these like little enamel circle pieces I kind of put sporadically. You can see there's like some star ones up at the top too that I end up kind of scattering around the page. You can see I've got quite a bit of ephemera left on this for this collection. Really with Hip Kit stuff, that you do get a lot of like embellishment pieces, so which is nice because then on top of that, like, I've got all this stuff left over that could work with other papers that I've got, not necessarily even Hip Kit, because the colors are, colors that would work with other stuff. But so really with this layout, I was trying to kind of get quite a bit of these puffy stickers and things like that on there, just to kind of get them used up, just because I do have so much of it. And their September kit that just came out this year, I think had quite a bit of school themed to it. But the reason why I went with this one instead is because I knew it had the little pockets that went with it. So, and since that sketch clearly had a pocket on it, I was like, that's what I'm going to do. Although really you could make it work with like a 49 Market, because a lot of time they have those envelopes with like kind of the slits in them so that you could, have pieces coming out of the envelopes and that. So it wouldn't necessarily even need to be a pocket, but that's kind of what it looked like to me, so. And like I said, I did have to go back and add glue to all these puffy stickers, so it's because they weren't They were kind of acting like they wanted to kind of come off fairly easily. And here is the close-up shot. I will include the information down below for the playlist as well as the Facebook group. So if you want to go and check out what other people are doing, you can. And I appreciate you for coming by to watch another process video.